Images in a model have the potential of significantly enhancing a model's ability to communicate whatever message it is that you were trying to depict in the model itself. And I just found out that the previous wiki page that I did on images was terribly out of date based upon some new features that have been added. So here's an update on the capabilities of images within Insight Maker. Now, initially, images were created, well, the picture primitive was created to allow one to indicate whether loops were reinforcing or balancing loops within closed loop diagrams and simulation models. So that initially there was the picture primitive, which you could assign a name to and put notes on, and there were a few images that you could assign to it, such as a clockwise or counterclockwise reinforcing, or a clockwise or counterclockwise balancing loop, and by selecting it you could go ahead and put that image on it and tell it that this is R for growth, and you could then go ahead and use that in the model to go ahead and provide a description of what the loop was. Though as we moved into looking at doing other types of diagrams in Insight Maker, we realized that simply allowing for reinforcing and balancing loop structures was kind of limiting. So we went ahead and added the ability to assign a number of additional images to the picture element. Though very quickly it became apparent that there were tons of pictures that people might want to use, and there's no way that we could go ahead and identify what they all were and manage them. So what happened was we figured out a way to go ahead and use images on the web. So if I go to, I use Google Chrome, which is just a preference, and you could use any one of the web browsers. If I tell it that I want to search for a bank, and then tell it that I want to look at images, there are tons of images online that I might use to represent a bank in my model. Now, I could in fact go ahead and simply tell it to copy this image URL. Though if I do that in Google, the URLs that you get are some crazy Google redirect URLs. They're not the real URLs for the images, so always go ahead and tell it to open that image in a new link, and then you actually get the real location for the image, so you can copy the image URL, and then you can go back here and select it and paste that URL in this field, and that will allow you to use that image in your model. Yes, it does in fact create the potential problem if the website that put this image online to begin with decides to delete it or change it. The next time that you look at your model, it will be something else. Though I have found over the last year or so, the number of times that happens is in the 1% range. Very seldom do I find that I have to go and look for another image to replace one that I used in the model before. Now, so we went ahead and updated it so that you could put images on the picture element, though it very quickly realized that it was a bit limiting. One might in fact want to put pictures on other things besides picture elements. So the model was or the Insight Maker was extended to allow one to put pictures on stocks, variables, converters, folders, and pictures. Oh, and buttons, but we'll talk about buttons somewhere else. So what you're looking at here is an image that's been pasted onto a folder. This is a folder, and if I open the folder, here's what a typical simulation model would look like for a savings account. There's an initial deposit into the savings account, and that the amount of money in the savings account periodically interacts with the interest rate to create interest to add to the savings account and to create growth. That same model one could create using overlaying images. These are two images overlaid on the variables. And this is an image overlaid on the savings account stock. Now once you overlay that, you realize that the text is laying in the middle of the object that the image that you've overlaid, so that you can use these tools to reposition the text where you would like it based upon the type of image that you're trying to create, because this is where it ends up after you do the initial picture paste, image paste onto the object. So as I said, you can just go to Google and search for, or in the browser and search for whatever it is that you're looking for. Tell it you want to open it in a new tab, do a right click on it and copy the image, and then go back and paste that on the element itself, and you then end up with that image in the model. And you can resize it as you wish. And it once the image is on it, is overlaid, it works just the same way that it did before, so that if it's an element that you can do links to, you can go ahead and create a link between that element and something else. Or if it's an image overlaid on a stock, then you can go ahead and create inflows and outflows from the stock, or links from the stock to something else. So just the ability to overlay images on a diagram or a model, I think, goes a long way to enhancing the model's ability to communicate the message that it's trying to portray. So hopefully this gives you a sense of what you can do with images and why, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.